instead of targeting their thinking. Associates and isolation from anti-criminal others. It's not just having bad friends. It's not having pro-social people in your life. When you assess a kid, right, and you want to know who to get in trouble with, you should also want to know who doesn't he get in trouble with. Family, friends, other people, because you've got to do what? You've got to figure out how to strengthen those relationships. If they have nobody, you've got to find somebody. You've got to find a mentor, a teacher, somebody. It may be you. I work with kids, the only pro-social people they know is their probation office. So that has, and by the way, we all know what a big risk factor that is. Your mamas knew, and if you have children, you know. You worry about who they hang around with. Okay? No different. Temperament, antisocial personality patterns, weak socialization, impulsivity, adventurous, restless, aggressiveness, egocentrism, taste for risk, weak problem solving, and coping skills. Right? Your kids risk takers, they act without thinking. Right? Of course they do. And those attributes, but let me say, here's the good thing about those attributes. They are all amenable to change. Right? I can make you less impulsive. We can work on your coping skills and your problem solving skills, right? We can practice that. I can teach you those things. Okay? History of antisocial behavior. That's one of the big ones. We look at what they did before, how young did they start, okay? But if you're going to target that, and you should be targeting that, we think we can't target that, but we can. Okay? What we have to do is teach them pro-social alternatives to those high-risk situations. They skip school all the time, right? Mom goes to work. Nobody's there to get them on the bus or to get them to school. Their buddies come over. They hang out all day. They get high, right? That's their pattern, right? Well, we know what their risky situation is. Well, how can we change it? Well, we can threaten them out of it. Right? We can try to punish them out of it, but, you won't get far. I like what we do. We throw them out of school. That makes a lot of sense to me, right? So, or we can work with that youth and break down that thinking, break down that situation, work with mom a little bit so she's calling home, making sure. We try to reduce that risk for them. Family factors that include criminality, right? Fathers in prison, mothers in trouble. That's a risk predictor. Here's the problem with it. You can't change it. What are you going to do about it? Right? It helps explain why the child's there, but it's not dynamic. But these are low levels of affection, caring, and cohesiveness in the family. Poor parental supervision and discipline practices. Outright neglect and abuse, right? Which speak to what? Behavioral interventions with families, right? By the way, who do they call to fix their kid? Right? They call you, right? That ought to tell you immediately they don't know what to do. They have what we call learned helplessness. They've learned to give up. So we have to work with them. 6, low levels of personal, educational, vocational, or financial achievement. 7, low levels of involvement in pro-social leisure activities, right? Because then they're what? Hanging out with their other friends that are hanging out, right? Not involved in activities. And finally, substance abuse, which is, for kids, is illegal in and of itself. Right? And of course, most of them aren't using illegally by themselves. All right? So there's antisocial peers there. But I want to be crystal clear about this. I want to be crystal clear. These four right here, run through these four. These are what we call the big four. These are the ones that if you really want to affect and change and reduce recidivism, you work on these, and these will follow. These will follow. What we do often is we do what I call a silo treatment. We put a kid in substance abuse treatment for a period of time. Right? And we wonder why he starts using again. Well, because we didn't change his attitudes, we didn't change his friends, we didn't teach him to be less impulsive. In other words, we didn't work on the core skills that he needs. We just put him in a program and dry him out for a while. I always say you take some delinquents and you take them bowling, you'll have a bunch of delinquents that know how to bowl. Alright? What do we have here? Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about this study. I haven't talked about it in a while, but it's that time of season. How many of you are sports fans? How many sports fans do we have here? All right, I'm a sports fan. I'm a Buckeye. I went to Ohio State, and I teach at the University of Cincinnati. So I've always been interested in athletes. A number of years ago, my colleague and I did a survey of all Division I head football coaches, in America. We surveyed them all. And we asked them about cheating. Why was there cheating, and what could be done about it? And we got this large response rate. And the coaches said to us that they believed, among other things, that the reason there was all this cheating going on was because they had to recruit all these poor kids. All these kids out of bad neighborhoods. All these kids didn't have fathers. Their solution was, let us pay them a little bit. They said, if we could just give these athletes some money every week, cheating would go way down. That's what they told us. We got the data, we wrote it up, we published it, got a lot of attention. And the NCAA called us. And they said, we liked your study, we want you to do another. But this time, we want you to study athletes. And so, my colleague and I did a study of 2,000 Division I football and basketball players, randomly selected from every school in America. Every school has to turn their roster in to the NCAA. We took every fifth kid. That's as random as you get. All right? There are 10,000, roughly 10,000 athletes. We're the guys that found that 25% gambled on games. That's what got in the papers. It was called the gambling study. But it really wasn't a study of gambling. It was a study of cheating. All right? Cheating's not always. There's lots of forms of cheating. So let's say Ben here is a star halfback at the University of Virginia. Okay? And I see him after a big game, and he's with his buddies. I say, Ben, that was a great game you had. Let me buy your dinner. That's cheating. He is not allowed to take a meal from a booster because he's an athlete. The NCAA would rule that an infraction. The University of Virginia athletic department would tell Ben in no uncertain terms, don't let anybody see you doing that again. All right, playing here is the star guard for the Virginia Tech basketball team. They got He's a star guard, Virginia Tech basketball team. I see him before the big game. I say, Wayne, we got the money on the other guys tonight. There's 25 grand. I want you to throw up some bricks. I know what you're thinking. It's always going to throw up anyway. but if he takes my money, that's a felony. He could go to prison for that, even in Virginia. Right? That's against the law. Take the money from gambling. It's not against the law to take a free meal. You're not going to jail or prison for taking a free meal. Like, they'll just throw you off the team eventually. But taking money, that can get you in trouble. I'm telling you that because I want you to understand we looked at all types of cheating, not just gambling. What did we find? Real quick, what did we find? Who were the cheaters? First of all, the superstars were the cheaters. Not a myth, right? The stars cheat more. Two reasons the stars cheat more. One, opportunity. Right? Nobody offers a third-string punter a new car. And second, entitlement, personality. I'm the star. I deserve it. Right? I'm the man. They're egocentric. Right? They've been recruited since the 8th grade. Second, those who associated with fellow athletes who broke the rules and saw nothing wrong with cheating. Cheaters hung around with cheaters. Third, they embraced values defining rule violations as acceptable. They said everybody does it. I'm turning pro anyway. School makes a lot of money, why shouldn't I? Attitudes, values, beliefs. Or they didn't have close relationships with their parents or their coaches. There's family and pro-social association, right? Because for a lot of kids, coaches are like surrogate parents.